By the 1920s, Claude Flight had begun making liner cuts that combined the superimposed forms and planes of Cubism, the speed and motion of the Futurists, with the strong colours, decorative patterning and simplification that characterized much of the avant-garde art in Europe since the turn of the century. Street Singers is an early work executed in 1925. It testifies to fascination with pure abstraction that resonates with the Vortist design principles. The artist conceives the world as in a constant state of flux, a ceaseless dynamic movement. Street Singers settles between abstraction and representation. At the focal point of the composition we encounter two simplified human figures singing in a public square. Flight visualized their resounding voices with a swirl of sound waves and primary colours, which attest to the movement characteristic obsession with curvilinear forms. This impression is annotated £3.30 by Flight in ink on label pasted in the lower margin. In his liner cutting and printing manual, Flight idealistically conceived that the liner cut, intentionally scaled to modest living quarters, will be priced in accordance with a working man's means, the price of a beer or cinema ticket. However, that only remained a utopian conception, as at the time the prints were only affordable by the middle and upper classes. Sibyl Andrews' Speedway reveals a futuristic related preoccupation with speed and the machine. In structurally bold and dramatic simplicity, Andrews fuses man and motorcycle in three repeating forms that move diagonally across the picture plane. The hard-edged machine-like figures descend from vorticism extreme automatons. For Speedway, Andrews carved four distinct blocks for each of the compositional colours: raw sienna, Venetian red, permanent blue, and Chinese blue. The image is gradually built up by the overlaying of successive blocks, each providing broad areas of colour and detail. The blocks reveal the abbreviated forms that give rise to boldly abstract overlapping patterns of considerable complexity and variety of colour tones, and attest to Andrews' mastery of the linoleum and her artistic vision. Cyril Power's Speed Trial chronicles Markham Campos' 1931 world-breaking run at Daytona Beach, Florida. Speed Trial evokes the sensation of progressive speed through an extensive use of abstract curves and dizzily repeated rhythmic patterns. Like Andrews' Speedway, this was achieved through regulating the colour density and texture by varying the hand pressure on the blocks. The ink on the final dark blue block was rubbed faint over print on tires before the block was wiped and the same colour printed again, more heavily this time on a graded passage from dark on bonnet paling to tail. In this way, such emphasis is given to the machine's front engine as the dynamic source of energy and power. This impression attests to Power's sensitivity to tonal shifts and his deliberate and meticulous working method. Wenzenweather exemplifies the Grosvenor school's preoccupation with the urban experience in all its mechanized tumult and electrifying diversity. Based on drawings of the escalators in Tottenham Court Road, Wenzenweather depicts a sublimely choreographed descent into the underworld of the London Underground by a host of faceless commuters. Power compresses the subject and eliminates all the secondary detail. This endless trail of faceless figures, rendered anonymous by the monotony of the daily commute, powerfully conveys a sense of modern isolation, an image and feeling that are still current today.